Many people are drawing up their New Year's resolutions on areas of their life they want to transform. Now, the journey can be challenging but fulfilling for those who actually achieve their goals. Life coach Lynne McNamara joins us now for more insights on how to set realistic targets. A pleasure to have you on the program this evening. Now, as a life coach, what advice do you have for individuals who are struggling to even pick the right New Year's resolution?
Well, to be honest, if you're struggling to pick your New Year's resolution now, you're probably setting yourself up for failure and shouldn't be picking it. The better thing to have done would have been to plan towards it and start implementing it on the new year. So what I would suggest now is if you're wanting to choose one, is to use this time between now and New Year to think of what your New Year's resolution should be and start planning towards it. So perhaps use the New Year's resolution little bit to say, okay, this is where I'm going to begin the planning rather than this is where I'm going to begin the actual action that you're wanting to take.
So you say that planning is crucial for resolutions, Lynne, but how can someone effectively plan and set realistic goals for the upcoming year?
You know, the thing is that what we don't realize is that we actually set goals for ourselves every single day, and most people are really frightened of them. Once you get rid of the being nervous of the goals, it makes it so much easier to implement them and not to make them a big thing in your head. So let's say, for example, if you're wanting to go overseas, and that's your New Year's resolution, is that you break it into small little steps that are going to get you to it. So to get overseas, you're going to first need to get your passport, then you need a visa, you need to save some money in order to get there. Use those as steps to reach first in order to reach the main goal. And that would be the planning. That is the planning I was talking about earlier, is that if you take those small steps and make them allow you to reach the goal, you're more likely to reach it.
So, Lynne, setting specific goals is also highlighted in what you're saying. Could you share examples of how specificity can really be significant in achieving a difference when it comes to resolutions, or being specific rather, sorry?
You do need to be really, really specific, and I think more than being specific is to add the accountability into it, but accountability to self. What we suggest is that you put yourself into having reached the goal already. So let's say, for example, I want to travel to Spain. Instead of saying I want to travel to Spain, which is a fairly bland, no emotions attached to that sentence, just say I am in Spain. I feel fantastic. I've saved the money. It's the best time ever. That then would be the description of your goal. So include emotions in it, and to be specific about the emotions that you want to feel when you achieve it, because the emotions that go with the achieving the goal is actually what's going to drive you to do it. Without the emotional drive, you're actually not going to do it.
So how important is having an accountability partner? It would seem that accountability partners also play a role in this process. And how can someone identify the right support system to stay motivated and, more importantly, on track with their resolutions?
Well, the person that you need to be most accountable is yourself. And if you are not accountable to yourself, then you're not going to reach that goal. Ultimately, it's all on you. But yes, having accountability partners is helpful, and some people absolutely love it. The thing is to pick a person that is already on your side, that you feel comfortable with, someone that can tell you the truth and be honest with you without you being offended and being defensive, and to keep in mind that accountability partner is the person that's going to sometimes say things that you're not going to want to hear, and it's okay. But if you feel that you need a professional as a accountability partner, then go ahead and do that. They know what they're doing. They're going to set you in the right direction, and they're impartial. So an accountability partner that is a professional is also a very, very good idea.
So one article mentions giving resolutions time to become habits as well. Can you elaborate on the importance of the patience and persistence in this process?
Yes, we tend to want instant gratification, and we're becoming more and more that way. And I think that's part of why so many people don't reach their goals and they achieve their New Year's resolutions is because of that. The easiest way to overcome that is to, again, break down your goal into tiny, manageable steps, and then reward yourself with each step that you achieve. So if, like I said, going overseas, once you've got your passport, you've made the booking, you've now got it in your hand, reward yourself in some way and be very conscious about it. It doesn't have to be a physical reward, but a conscious, well done, to me, I'm here, and tick it off on your list. That helps you to make things become a habit. If something is too big, we tend to want to shy away from it. By making it smaller, it is easier to make it habitual.
But I guess it also then begs the question as to how do I maintain a positive, call it mind space, to ensure that I actually fulfill this particular journey? Again, I think it comes back to the positive emotions. I think it's to acknowledging what it is and being very conscious of the positive emotions that you're going to feel and experience once you achieve that goal. That is what's going to make the difference. So let's speak about time management techniques to help you stay on track with some of these New Year's resolutions. Maybe speak to that aspect and as to how important is this?
Time management is huge because when we're trying to achieve a New Year's resolution, there are benefits to achieving it. Otherwise, you wouldn't even be trying. But there are also going to be things that you're going to have to give up. They're going to be what we call losses. Losses may be in time. Okay, so let's say, for example, you're going to want to run the Comrades this year. In order to do that, you're going to have to get up earlier to go and train. Doing that, you're having to give up time. So, and that is the loss. I think in the time management, you need to include the loss factor. The fact that most of our goals are going to take some time away from us, and we need to manage that. Mm-hmm. And I think that is key to achieving the goal. So if we're having to give up a lunchtime in order to go for a run, we need to make sure that we allow for a break somewhere else, which is going to mean that you're going to have to manage your time better during the day. So time management is enormous.
But how do I celebrate, call it some of the small gains in my journey to realizing some of the bigger goals that I may set for next year?
I think that the thing is to be mindful, to be more mindful of the smaller gains. There are always smaller gains along the way, and anything that we do, there's smaller gains. But we are not mindful enough about them. So it comes down to being more mindful about the gains that you are making. That to celebrate the 3 kilometers that you ran and you don't feel as tired, to celebrate the 10 kilometers that you ran. And again, it doesn't have to be a physical celebration, but a mental celebration and an acknowledgement, a firm, conscious acknowledgement that you have done it.
Then do you believe there are specific tips that you can share for maintaining a work-life balance while pursuing some of these resolutions?
Yes, I think, getting back to the time management, it's going to be around that. That you need to manage your time correctly in order to have that balance. And I think the thing is to also acknowledge what your life is. To, you know, if you haven't got the time to train for comrades, well then acknowledge that your goal is perhaps too big, and this year perhaps scale it down to run a 10K run, in which the training is not going to be as bad. And that will allow you the balance between training, working, socializing, family time. So you need to be careful of what what you're having to give up in order to reach that goal. And if you're having to give up too much family time, too much work time, that is what is going to cause the problem.
Lynne, thank you so much for your time. That was life coach Lynne McNamara giving us some helpful tips on how to not just make resolutions, but how to keep to some of the promises that you make towards yourself and plans that you may have for your life as we go into the year 2024.